Hello everyone, and welcome to the 8th episode of the Record Around podcast. This is a series in which we take representatives from different record arounds across the subreddit and discuss topical matters in the world of RRs. And for this episode we're doing exactly what I just said we would. We're not doing what I said we were doing, which is taking representatives from different record arounds, because today we are joined by our competition winners. So we've had a little bit of a hiatus since the last episode, which was recorded the day I got to America, and I've been back for like a month now, so we apologise for the gap, but we have been dealing with our applications. So I think 25 days ago now, we put out a application form on the UHC subreddit for people who thought they had good RR knowledge to apply and to come on this episode. And after filtering out one or two hilarious joke applications, we had 33, which was actually a brilliant number, so thank you to everybody who applied for the series. And based on the original applications, we narrowed that down to just 15. Since we could not decide from those 15, we added a second phase to the applications where we asked those 15 people to answer questions. So, sorry, ignore me. To choose 3 topics from a former episode of the series and answer the question written out how they would have answered it if they were in attendance at the episode. And from that, we managed to narrow it down to our 4 lovely guests who are here now. So, say hello to _Glenn.
Hey.
We have Katie Lawson.
What up, my G?
We have Ripper Steve, who's here. What time is it?
Nah, it's just before 8 AM.
Oh, okay.
It's not too bad. It's not too bad. Yeah, I'm fine.
And we have Moist.
Morning.
What? Welcome.
No, we have Wetter.
Hello.
He's the guy from Family Feud, yeah?
Can I say, why didn't Katie's application get filtered out as a joke application? That's what I want to know.
My whole life is a joke application, to be honest.
Didn't Katie's application get like the best reception? Like the best votes out of everyone's?
No, that was Glenn.
Oh, Glenn's. Okay.
I am the Senate, right.
Okay. So yeah, also this is the first time we're recording on Discord, because RIP my TeamSpeak, so if it sounds any different, I know Max sounds a lot shitter than normal.
Yeah, sorry.
So apologies for that. So yeah,
Canadian.
Hopefully this still sounds okay, because we haven't actually tested this. Probably would have been a good plan.
Maybe now that Max sounds awful, other people can talk.
That's a good point.
Okay.
You've got me on the podcast. This isn't going to happen.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think we've already been drowned out.
I am the
Welcome
new
to the
Max.
Katie Lawson
You've got
podcast.
your good filling of loudmouth freaks here today, don't worry about it.
Yeah, Ripper.
Fuck you, Rick.
I know. Sorry, guys. Sorry. I'll shut up now.
Oh, sorry, is this a PG podcast? Can we swear?
Yeah. You're
We have yet to
people
knock
have
on,
actually
don't
asked
worry.
this question if you're allowed to swear on the podcast.
Can
or
you
not,
swear?
As in how many times can you be offensive or make like offensive
Dib-
jokes?
was
At the end of this, I've insulted
Yeah,
every
Dibs
ethnicity,
asked
don't you
me how
worry.
many offensive jokes he was allowed to make, and I said 4. So
Right, okay, I'm going to work to that quota. Let's do it.
go for it.
You've got 4, Katie.
I'm going to get a spreadsheet up.
You might want to keep these tracked. Okay, so since it's been quite a long time since the last episode, obviously there's been a lot of recorder rounds released since then, so we're going to take advantage of the fact that all of our guest application winners are people with good RR knowledge who actually are sort of active on the subreddit, because as nice as it was to meet Berg and his daughter, I don't think Berg actually has been watching Recovery UHC Season 2, so
You don't know his life.
yeah, sorry, he might have done. I can't say for sure, but I'm gonna go out on a limb and say that didn't happen. So
Okay.
we're gonna start off by going through some of the more notable recorder rounds which have happened recently. We've narrowed down the list to 10. I think that's 10. So apologies if anyone's round is not on there. It's just the rounds we have chosen had a lot of things that we could have said about it, whereas some of the others not so much. So yeah, nothing personal. It's just, we're going to start way more drama with these topics.
It's a very personal, trust me.
Drama.
We get a lot more dislikes if we talk about these.
Exactly. So do we want to just
How many
take
dislikes
it
can we
from the
get?
top?
Yeah, let's just go right
Okay,
in.
so our first of the recorder round is Heroes in Battle. And does anyone want to start this one off? I have a piece
Heroes never die!
Yep, fair enough.
To be quite honest, I was a little bit skeptical going into Season 13 of Heroes in Battle UHC, just because of the fact that Erich is a little bit rusty with organization since he hasn't done it for a while. Yeah, he's done 12 seasons, but I mean, it's been a long time since it was actually around. But I must say, it was actually a rather entertaining season from a viewer's perspective. I did enjoy it. It was better than I thought it would be. It's kind of all I have to say about that one.
You
The
see,
thing I noticed.
Yeah, go ahead.
Actually, I'm not a bad fan. You go.
Okay, so I thought the actual season was quite enjoyable, and I really liked the roster as a season one.
Yeah, the roster doesn't. I was about to say that the roster
fact
doesn't look
is-
like what I picture Heroes in Battle to look like.
I like HIB, like I've got a lot of respect for it. It was created at a time when recorder rounds were reserved for the well-known and the popular, and Heroes in Battle kind of put their middle finger up to that, and were like,
For a second,
you
I
know,
thought you said
we don't...
HIV.
Yeah, fair enough.
Alright,
We need an
let's
email
not go down that
to-
path.
So,
Offensive joke number 1. Yeah.
yeah,
Fake sweater.
So, yeah, I don't think that, from that point of view, I have a lot of respect for the round, but I think that when it closed off, okay, Season 12 wasn't amazing, I'm pretty sure they released the intro about a month before the actual season was
Oh, I
released.
completely
They
forgot
released
about
the
that.
intro, and then the upload rates were just appalling, and I think it took them about that long
Yeah.
to get upload rates where they were like, okay, now we can go ahead and release the season. So I think I may have got my numbers wrong. Was it 16 players they had for season 13?
Looking at the episode post for 13,
I
we've got
bel-
1, 2, 3, yeah.
16.
Yeah, about that.
Was it something like 5 of those had played a previous season?
Well, what? It was
season 12, like 11 months
Okay,
ago.
wait, let me check it out. So it
Cool,
was
season 13.
Erich, Attack Zach, Alunio, Kanako, Kingsley, and
That's it.
that's it. So
That's
yeah,
all the ones
five.
that survived from
So,
season
okay.
12
5
over
out
11
of 16
months.
members in that round have played a previous season before it was killed off originally. Now, you kind of do feel for them, because people have replied to my comments on the round and have said, well, if you look at sort of like the original roster for Heroes in Battle and how many of those are still active players, it's a very
It's
low
like little to
number.
none.
It makes sense.
And-
It's a long time running recorded round for them to keep
Yeah,
as many
so
to
you're
keep
gonna have
players is
roster
difficult.
changes. That's
Yeah.
natural to happen.
I actually
And
think
a progressive roster change is completely fine. Most rounds will go through that if they're around for the amount of time Heroes in Battle has been.
mean,
But
look
the
at
fact that
someone like
Heroes in
TTE or
Battle
WMC.
is a round which announced themselves dead after having been a respected round for quite a long period of time, and then Erich decides to come back with a completely new roster, decides he wants to organise again, but the round he's created is not Heroes in Battle. Like, a lot of people would say...
I think
You may as well have called it a new round.
for
Exactly.
me, I
It's
think the
like-
better. I think the better comparison is not to kind of call it like a season 1. I think it's more like it's better to call it like a season 2. Because like nowadays, like if you like nowadays when a new record round comes out, the season 2 roster tends to be like not hugely different, but like quite different from the season 1.
Because a lot of people will
Yeah.
join a season 1, see how the season 1 goes, and then
Like
go, okay,
a lot
that's it, I'm
of
jumping
season
out.
1s nowadays have, the season 2 comes out and there's a lot of newcomers. So I feel like the season 12 was the season 1, and the one that's come out now is kind of like a season 2 where they've had to
Yeah.
change.
I do think
Makes
though,
sense because it is
that-
11 months.
I do think though that after this season, it is possible that maybe some old HIB players who were invited for season 13, who were originally skeptical, may join back once they realize that it is actually up and running and they did have a successful season 13. So, and Erich has said this himself, that he will take more of an initiative to add back older players if possible. So I am looking forward to seeing what he can do with the roster in
I
terms of
hope
older
he can
players in
bring
the
it
coming
back.
seasons.
Because,
Yeah.
and like, I think the thing is, he said, oh, well, there's not much we can do in terms of bringing back old players because most of them aren't in the community anymore. We did as best we can with bringing players back, but obviously some people can't make the season. That's just natural in recorded rounds, and this was basically the biggest pool that they could get. And my counter argument to that is, well, if you've got a round where you can only get 5 players from the history of that roster to turn up on
Rename the round
to play, then it's no longer your recorder round. You know, if ARIH wants to organise another round, cool. If that roster came out as a Season 1, that's actually pretty cool. There are some really nice people in there, like Ember was nice to see in there, Garrett, Lively, Phased, Pelago. You know,
I didn't even notice Lively. I thought Lively seems like a good addition.
I enjoyed that roster, but the fact that it was almost like when somebody tries to combine their host encounter with someone else, and it's like they want their host encounter to be as high as possible. It's like ARIH created another round, but didn't feel like going to a Season 1 having organised a round for the best.
Yeah, I feel like
so carried on the same host encounter as Heroes in Battle, but it's not.
I feel like keeping the same name is quite good, because like if you look at all the old rounds, like the old rounds at the start of UHC, and how many of those have actually survived. You've got TTE who survived, WMC, and R&R. AP's gone. What other old ones are there?
Ambition's still around.
Yeah. A few of them have like disappeared. So to keep the old round alive, like I think is quite a good thing. But I see what you mean. Like, it's not really the old round; it's just namesake, and that's pretty much it.
Yeah. Although
at the end of the day, would like imagine if he posted this as a Season 1, would he have got better reception, worse reception?
Season 1s get bad reception.
Season 1s get bad reception, so he probably, by posting it as a Season 13, he probably thought...
But that's
he may have not necessarily thought, but...
Because Season 1s don't get hate, bad Season 1s get hate. Season 1s
people are skeptical on Season 1s. People are skeptical on Season 1s, though.
Season 1s where it looks like there's been no effort put in. You know...
Okay, different question. If you looked at this roster as a Season 1, would you have said, this is terrible, it's too similar to HIB?
I just said this is fucking weird. Because it's
quite a weird group of people.
People who should be in Heroes in Battle, and
you've got people like Kanaka with Attack Zack,
substitutes as people who are current friends of ARIH's who have no association to the HIB roster, but he needed players or something. Like that roster would never have come together as a Season 1, which is why I don't think that argument really works too well. Because Big One and Ember mixed in with a bit of Kingsley, Evader, and Smeshy, like, it's not really a roster.
The issue I see for this roster, because it's such a weird roster, if they're doing a team season for the next season, how are these people gonna work in teams?
And when you
if you put Kanaka on a team with FaZe, that can work. But Kanaka on a team with Attack Zack, or like TV on a team with I don't know,
Smashy.
Yeah, you put them on a team together, how is that going to work?
Exactly, it won't. And when you get rounds where, like, the friend groups are divided up into, like, little cliques, because, generally...
Foxtail! Sorry.
Okay.
Well, that's actually a really good example, because you had friend groups in that round who were amazing at PvP, and then the exact opposite.
And me, I was great at PvP in Folkstale, #1 player.
So
you and I were probably
if you're ever doing any sort of chosen rig teams recorder rounds, you're going to have really unfair teams. Because people are going to be with their friends, people who are friends probably, I'd say probably around the same skill level. Like if you had a couple of Kata people in there, as an example, and you put them on the same team, they're probably going to be one of the strongest teams in the game.
Yeah.
Attack Zack and Zack Attack, if that was...
Zack Attack's not around anymore.
Not a team you want to see in
no, it's really not. They've lost like 2 recorded rounds together ever. It's fucking terrifying.
Oh wait, actually, I don't think they've ever lost... No, they've only lost, I think, 1 or 2 recorded rounds together, but they've won like 3, I think, 3 or 4 at least recorded rounds together.
Anyway, I want to move on because we have so many.
We can move on. Yeah,
right.
That's 1 done. Now we've got 9 left.
But Chunk Loader, which was released 2 days ago.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
It's just not a Chunk Loadery intro, but I get that they had to get. I think Sonic did it.
To give a little bit of backstory.
Chunk Loader revamp.
Continue.
To give a little bit of backstory into the delay for Chunk Loader Season 3 with the intro and general release of it. This was recorded around the same time as Out of Orbit Season 8. I actually think it was the weekend. It was either the weekend before or after Out of Orbit Season 7. I think I said 8. But it was very close to the weekend of
Season 7.
Season 7, yeah. So that just gives you a little time stamp when that happened. And PHP was working on the intro, but there was a time when he went completely MIA and nobody was able to get a hold of him, which is why he hasn't uploaded any of his episodes yet either. In which case they turned to Sonic and fed him to the intro, which is why it took an extra couple months. So we did intend to have PHP do the intro for this season, but he just is like not around anymore, so it was... Yeah, that's why it's so backed up. It would have been released a couple months earlier had he done it.
I personally think the intro is really good. Like, if you think about how talented PHP is, and you've got that in, like, and you've got Season 1 and 2 intros followed by that, he's done the best job Sonic probably can. I go as far as say it's what...
don't get me wrong, it's a good intro. It's a great intro, it's just... I don't know, it just doesn't give the chunk loader kind of feel.
Yeah, having to follow a good intro is not the hardest thing. If you look at Agency Season 1...
Hard acts to follow.
The poor soul who did Agency Season 2?
That was Sleeping. Sleeping and, what's his face? Who was it? It was, Sleeping and the guy who did... Vic. Sleeping and, Romastamo did it.
Yeah,
at least I think Romastamo contributed a little bit, but I think it was mostly
like those poor guys who had to follow Poem Season 1 intro.
Fucking Agency Season 1 intro is one of the best intros for any RR possible.
And that was Poem's first intro.
Season 1 it's his only ever intro.
Yeah, only ever intro.
Yeah, and following that is like following something that's so established and people are like, yeah, that's definite. You're gonna get some sort of slight flag.
Although the Agents, I personally like the Agency 2 intro, but it did surprise me because Vic has done one of my personal favorite Recorder intros, that being Restriction Season 4, one of my all-time favorite Recorder intros.
Yeah, I'm a fan of the Cynical Season 5 intro personally.
I actually non-ironically love that intro. It's awesome.
Lego can't argue with us.
Let it be known that the RR podcast
really
officially
did not like the Cynical 5 intro.
Oh,
here we go. New Lego.
I've always thought it was fantastic, but not so much as an intro because it doesn't really suit that quick, fast-paced thing that we have going canon for most intros. But I thought the art was breathtaking. I loved the way the art was. I thought the text was lined up. I liked the kind of distant music in the background, the kind of echoey stuff, and I thought it was very well paced.
It was very well made. It was incredibly well made.
We're on Chunk Loader.
I love Chunk Loader. Chunk Loader is a great round. Chunk Loader is a fantastic round.
We
Good round. Great
do
round.
this every episode.
It's a topic we're meant to be mentioning later. What the fuck?
Oh yeah, this is literally... Yeah, okay.
Come back. Come home.
So, yeah, Chunk Loader... Good round. I think it's amazing that it's taken this long to get released, but I understand the issues that they've had with it. Sonic's done a good job to follow.
I have a question.
Art with 2 amazing intros.
Why is it called Chunk Loader Revamp after only 2 seasons of Chunk Loader?
Okay, so Chunk Loader was originally an SMP group. Redux is basically every time is a different way of saying like the remake of it.
Because it was intended. It was intended to be a one-time recorded round, hence the lack of a season 1.
No,
or
that's
season
the thing.
X.
It wasn't intended to be. Evader never intended it to be a one-time RR.
Didn't Sirius intend it to be?
No, Sirius went Sirius was responsible for getting a bunch of the people for Season 1, which is how you had like Dida, Sneak, Snag, Oddballer, and it was because Sirius went and told them all it was a one-time RR, and then when Evader said, okay, Season 2's in the planning, they all fucked off. Because Sirius was no longer the organizer, because that's what Evader...
I can't wait for these to go the name of the way of the Matrix naming system. I want Chunk Load of Retribution.
God.
Things go to a different world and get really weird.
And suddenly there's a chosen one.
Yeah, let's move on.
Okay, next one is Out of Orbit.
That's the space round.
Very good intro.
2 people here in Out of Orbit.
The first space round.
3.
Biases.
Very good intro.
Don't know.
The first space round.
I think the intro didn't get as much reception as it should have, but I think that's not the main intro. But I mean,
Hold on.
I mean,
intro was amazing.
I mean the episodic intros. I saw almost no comments about like the changes he made to
I'm
the.
gonna be honest, with the exception of the fact that the teams were changed. Were there any actual changes to the intro other than the team?
Yeah, they were, but the
And
dead people were grayed out.
ghosting.
Yeah, the dead
Was
people
that
were grayed
it?
out. They were ghosted. There were new team colors. He swapped around the positioning of them. I mean, it was the same base, but he changed it, and he was like hoping for more of it because
I'd convinced myself that like the background was changing each time, and I don't know why.
You're
I
just going
thought
crazy.
this, because
No,
like,
the
way-
background was changing.
This is no disrespect to the effort that you put in, because they are already good. But like
Yeah.
the way the episodic intros were hyped up, just the fact that they were changing the position of the team. I mean, the grayed out things for like the dead people, like the holograms, almost were really well done. But I was expecting like I just thought the background was changing, and I was watching them every 2 days, thinking, oh yeah, I can see the resemblance. Like
I feel like-
Yeah, but, like,
2 days
but the
ago.
thing is, like-
I was completely making it up. There was zero change, but
How many
psychologically,
rounds? How many rounds have done episodic intros?
WMC.
AP,
AP10.
But no, wait, no,
AP.
it wasn't WMC. It was AP. Yeah, shit, yeah.
AP10, Founding Season 3 was going to do it before.
Hell yeah,
Were
Founding!
they?
Yeah, they were.
Because we're struggling to
I
think
mean,
of
Glenn,
any.
you were by yourself for that intro. How do you feel?
But I think the issue is with
Felt
this
pretty
that
special for
the
that.
way they did it with AP was it was quite really noticeable. Like it was really noticeable the changes
Because the
between
music
each episode.
changed.
The music
the
changed.
Parts completely
Suddenly
changed.
someone was
This is-
completely
because
different, and it was how they died. Whereas Out
That's
of
what I'm
Orbit
thinking.
didn't go as far. It was
'Cause
like
that's what I'm thinking. Because you're pointing out stuff like I thought it would change more. Its only comparison is AP10,
Yeah,
which
the
was
only one we've got
voted,
to go off.
which was voted #1 on the top 100 intros.
it's
of all
hard. It's
time.
hard to
Pretty
prove
much
that.
unanimously.
yeah,
Actually,
because
I believe Agency
Yeah.
Season 1 was in the top 5.
It was,
Yeah.
I think.
I just find
I-
it funny, like
I actually have the, I'm gonna sound really nerdy here, but I actually have written down, like, all of the slots for all of the 100 euros for both of the contests.
Oh, that's cool.
Damn.
oh.
If
that's
I
pretty-
can find
pretty
it,
nice.
though...
I just find it
There it
funny
is.
how
See,
learning.
This is
learning
what
punk
preparation
out
is called,
all
guys.
the
This is what
intros of
preparation looks like.
AP10, every
I've
single
turned
one
up
of them
with
in
orange,
3
that's the way.
weeks. Like Out of Orbit was recorded in like did you say December, like around the chunk load?
November.
It was
Late
November.
November.
I think it's
Oh,
November.
yeah, no, that's true.
Alright.
Because Out of Orbit was something like November 22nd, and Chunk Loader was like the first
Okay,
week
I
of
get-
December.
No. I can reveal this now. That was the night I had, I think, 3 RRs on, and it was recorded the same night as Conception Season 2,
bloody hell.
which now Conception Season 3's been
Oh,
released,
Agency Season 1 was number 7.
recorded.
Conception
At least
is now
recorded.
out.
You heard it here, Phil.
It is
Yes,
now.
Conception
Okay, it's
will
been
have a third
recorded.
season.
Okay.
it's been recorded.
Thing is, for Out of Orbit,
And
I think like
Ameliorate
Oh,
Season
Amelia,
4
wow.
was recorded on that same weekend.
Yeah.
That was the other one.
thing is, for Out of Orbit, no matter like what the like reception was, I think we always have to give props for Lethal for how much he's like him and Kak put so much effort into how their RR is going to be based around their specific
Oh
thing.
yeah.
Yeah,
No, he had
Like this,
He
the
put
fucking
4
planet
months.
analysis. Holy shit! Jesus Christ!
Yeah, I know.
It's pretty
It's
damn
such
amazing.
dedication. So like,
Normally it wouldn't be that mind-blowing.
yeah,
What can I say? Lethal
When
likes
you-
his planets.
When you look at Lethal with Out of Orbit, it sort of reminds you of like when someone's hobby is able to become their job almost, and you
Yeah.
can just
Yeah.
see like it's not just a job for them; it's like it's just a paid hobby and their passion.
yeah. No matter what the
Or
reception
is
was for like the
Except we don't pay.
intros or the season, it's always nice to see like. Compared with all like the season ones that come out that have no effort in, it's always nice to see how much effort someone like Lethal puts into his fucking RR.
Kind of puts everyone else to shame though. Like if
Yeah,
that's-
it's
if that's
not,
the
it's just-
standards that you come to expect.
just- if you have,
then
like, a
every other
level, if you have, like, a
organiser looks
spectrum,
shit.
If you have a spectrum,
You need to
like fucking Lethal's
appreciate-
jumped up.
You need to appreciate that, like, organizational standards is really a parabola, and like Lethal.
Big word.
It's like a graph. You know when you got squared, yeah. Like,
Dude,
just
I
pick up a
failed maths. Can we not
parabola.
talk about this?
Right. Okay. Anyway, it doesn't really matter, and like the peak of it is like average. Like we shouldn't come to expect all organisers to put in the sort of efforts that they do.
Also, next up, we're going to discuss Parabola Season 1.
Right. Someone get on it right now. For now. Okay.
Right, which one's
Do
up
we
next?
want to move on? God forbid.
Let's stop talking about
Yes,
parabolas and
please.
SpongeBob.
Animated to life.
Oh god!
Oh yeah, Mr. Crab.
If I could star, if you're ever so willing. Katie only found out what Animated to Life was 5 minutes prior to the recording of this episode. And she had a field day on how funny it was.
Was it just amplified terrain?
Okay,
Not
so the game mode for Animated to Life Season 1 was SpongeBob. So it was a SpongeBob recording. And if I'm going to quote it directly off the post so I don't mess anything
Oh
up and
no,
get
no, I don't
harassed.
want to have to read this grammar again.
Okay, wait,
Like
so
this
if I may,
I honestly cannot think of a single more insulting thing we've done on the podcast than have
If
someone
I may.
laugh than have someone laugh non-stop.
I'm sorry, but right, no. The
Wilson.
idea of a cartoon recorded, it can work as an idea, I'm sure. Fucking SpongeBob!
that's the main thing I want to say. I have nothing against the idea of Animated Life. I think you can honestly pull it off. A little strange at that.
There's a lot of cartoons you could base it off of that would be like a really cool thing. I just could start with SpongeBob.
Yeah, I just think that the execution of this is so poor. I really do think that there is potential for this idea. But they started off so poorly, not only with just a horrible intro, but also with a horrible game mode. Reading some of the excerpts here from the Record Around post, Season 1, Episode 1, you have, the season is based off of SpongeBob SquarePants, gives a little brief intro to the show. This game mode is called Krusty Krab, where all players are sorted into teams of 3, and each player is given a role. Every team will have one of each Krusty Krab employee, SpongeBob, Squidward, and Mr. Krabs. SpongeBob, being a hyperactive and cheery, yet friendly and kind character, has speed 1 and weakness 1. Basically, each character is given types off of their personality, but it's so loose. Like, Mr. Krabs
So
gets
it's like superheroes.
It's so, well,
so
Mr. Krabs.
basically this happens. I thought you were reading that off the post. Jesus Christ, how relaxed are they about?
It
It kind of reminds me of
Mr.
kind of reminds
Krabs
me of
gets
Calvin
haste.
Season 4.
Mr. Krabs gets haste because he's greedy. That's all there is to it. It's that simple.
Okay,
It could have done so much more.
if you want to do like a SpongeBob RR, like if you want to do it based on SpongeBob, there are so many directions you could take it that are like more creative than this. I think like you could like fucking I don't know like involve the sponge block or something, like have oars drop sponge or something just stupid. If you can have like a recorded round about cartoons, you can have some fun with it. This seems so like not going far enough into the theme. Like,
Around about the time the subreddit just shat on everyone who made a scenario post about superheroes, it just comes down to the same thing. If you're trying to make something around a basic theme, like the lowest you can possibly go with it is superheroes.
yeah.
It's like it is just like the default. Like we can't think of anything, so we're just gonna do superheroes.
I mean, if you're gonna do SpongeBob, you could give like water breathing or something, like let people go underwater. That would work as an like recorded round idea, and like extend it to the full theme of the show, not just giving
it seems to
the
be
cheery
like
and
a
friendly
down.
character speed and weakness.
Also,
It seems
if,
to me
if you
like
want
they
to
sat
talk
down
about it by slagging off the idea of superheroes recording rounds, may I remind you of the existence of Nuzlocke? So it's not impossible.
Yeah, but that's-
to do
but
it,
that's
if
not
you think
su-
about
but-
how, if you think about
Nuzlocke
how
does
Also based on the
strongly
cartoon.
connected- If you think about how strongly connected the idea of Nuzlocke is to the powers they give, the amount
Yeah,
of time
Nuzlocke is
they
so
spend
in depth on what
balancing
it's
it
doing.
out, making sure all the types are so similar and represent that of
Yeah, but the difference
that.
is-
Then there's just and then he's friendly, so he gets what was it again?
He's friendly and cheery like
You
friendly
get
and
weak
kind.
one and weakness one.
Yeah.
It's just such a different in.
Yeah, the
thought
thing with
process.
Nuzlocke is superheroes, but injected with raw ethanol. It's like it's just insane the
Ethanol?
amount like each has been yeah, it's pretty wacky. It's
You're looking for octane, buddy.
Ethanol would probably kill someone.
Okay.
but it's so
Continue.
like tweaked and fiddled, and it's just crazy. This one's just like, oh, you get speed, you get weakness.
Like, yeah,
Done.
I'm sure like the idea could be done, but it's I don't want to shit on the idea of someone doing a fun art based around cartoons because people like cartoons. I just want to shit on the fact that it's not done to the best way it could have been done.
That's another thing, is this recorded round is coming from the organizer, Electric Cobra, somebody who likes to applaud themselves for being heavily knowledgeable in cartoons. Yet,
Yeah.
this is such, it's such
like-
a weak grab.
like,
at
someone with a basic knowledge of SpongeBob can pull this
Batman,
up and come up with
Batman,
this.
I know that you're talking, but I can barely hear you. Your voice is so quiet.
I'm not talking.
Oh, I heard background noise then. I could hear...
Sorry,
Oh,
I was moving my mic around.
Oh, sorry. Okay, I could hear somebody talking in the back. I thought that was you. Anyways, yeah, this recording was being organized by Electrocobra, somebody who likes to talk about how knowledgeable they are about cartoons. So when I saw the intro, and I saw that it was organized by Electrocobra, and I saw that it was SpongeBob themed, I honestly did walk into this with fairly good expectations, because I was like, oh, what better person to organize a cartoon-based record around than Electrocobra? Because I don't think anybody in the community, knows more about it than she does. But I think this is probably, honestly, one of the worst renditions of a SpongeBob game mode that you ever could have tried to do, because there's nothing to it. There's not. If somebody hosted this game mode and didn't say that it was SpongeBob, you would have absolutely no idea what you were playing. It would just be like, oh, you just get like some sort of roles thing. It has no ties to it whatsoever. Which is my main issue with it, at least.
Yeah.
Actually, I'd like to ask a question.
One.
Yeah.
Also, have we mentioned that they're ripping off Gala?
Yeah, Gala Season 4, very similar. To be fair, it appears their script didn't work, so they were going to have other...
If the script doesn't work, redo the
buffs and
season.
drawbacks.
If the script doesn't work and you have to settle with a superheroes clone,
Redo the season.
I don't really know how much it's going to be worth continuing.
So if Nuzlocke's game mode
Season
failed...
2, literally their script failed, so they did Superheroes Team of 3. Just saying. So...
Everyone
I ask
remembers
that
Cynical
question
Season
now?
2.
Yeah, go ahead.
Why is Episode 1 have 0 points on the subreddit?
Because it's animated to Life UHD Season 1.
True.
People were naked.
I mean, I think it does kind of make me wonder. This is a question. Have we covered this question before? Which is like, does a good intro for a recorded round affect the round itself, or should just be judged off of the actual season?
I think we should mention this in the intro section that's coming up.
Oh yeah, that's the thing. But anyways, I'd assume that having this poor of an intro for the start also already gave people a very bad mindset walking into the season. So I think if they had a really good intro, like made by somebody, say like Ember, the reception would have been a lot different.
You know the most frustrating thing to me about the Animated Life intro? It's not the background visuals, it's not even the music or the not fantastic renders, it's the complete lack of syncing. Oh, it's so infuriating. It's like some of the team screens, they're on screen for completely different lengths of time, and it's just so
yeah. Anyway, do you want to move on from this?
Let us move on.
Next one's probably going to be left mainly down to Glenn, but we got Unknown UHC Season 2.
Unknown? What is that?
I don't know, it's pretty
question mark.
There was an 8-month gap from the Season 1 and Season 2. So...
yeah.
That was pretty big of a gap, and plus I had new organizers and a giant roster change.
I was going to say the roster change was fairly dramatic.
Are you sure?
I guess you could say some of the players were unknown to the round.
Both Heck and Millen lost interest in Minecraft at the time, so they both left kind of the round to Lake and Jan.
Yeah.
Then a lot of people left
Done a good
because
job.
Glenn, are you
yeah,
sure
they did
that
a good job.
called Desire?
But like a lot of people left the round, and then they had to get new people in.
Yeah.
I think the new roster is fairly good. I quite enjoyed Season 2. It was pretty
They've
entertaining.
clearly tried
Yeah,
to
it was a pretty good season.
Thing.
Yeah. And I mean, I think it worked. It was
I
definitely...
think that's, to be fair, I think the competitive thing is just the kind of meta of the time. More than
Also, the
anything.
organisers being heavily associated with like Harvard and Kata, any friends that they get are going to be a fairly good
Just saying.
PvP.
One thing I will say about
It's
Season 2...
Pimlico.
One thing I love the idea that it's just the players don't know what they're getting into.
Yeah.
I do like that. But the problem is, I just felt like the game modes weren't that much of a game changer. Vengeful
Teams
Spirits
will not be scattered together and zombies drop feathers.
Well, I mean, like, the thing was the teams one is like, oh, and he knows that instantly. It's like, oh, my teammate's not here. The beta zombie one is like, oh, cool, more feathers. The only one notable to me that actually changes the game is Vengeful Spirits. That's the one that would really surprise you.
Just to point
Yeah, I
something
nearly
out.
died to that.
Just to point something out, I did watch a few perspectives. When people noticed they weren't scattered, there were a couple teams that thought it was split spawn, and like people were saying, "Oh, is it split spawn or Soul Brothers?" So it wasn't definite if it was one of the two.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Oh wait, what happened there was we actually had a first attempt, and it was Soul Brothers.
Oh.
So we weren't sure when they did it again.
Oh, I heard about that
Okay.
because like when you typed in team chat, it didn't say like UHC1 and UHC2
Yeah.
for like the World Z rating. Yes, yeah.
Oh, that's not fun.
I mean, we had to switch from Eclipse to
it's just
Arctic.
troll, if anything.
Oh yeah, because Max
Yeah.
was at his sister's party or something.
Yeah.
Wait, what?
No, not you, organised.
Oh, I thought. Okay, 'cause I was gonna say that's the same thing as
Yeah,
me,
Max
Pathfinder
150.
1. I was at my
Fuck you,
sister's
Max.
birthday party.
Maybe that's what I'm thinking of. He was at a party,
You're probably
maybe it
thinking
wasn't
of
his sister's. It doesn't really matter, does it?
Let's
get to the detail. What party was it? What was the cake?
Okay,
What flavor icing?
Oh, it's good icing.
Quite an interesting one. Grudge Match, Season 3. Okay, I want to just start off by saying, great intro, Riker, but why the fuck, before it starts introducing the teams, does it go round 2? It's round 3, you fuck.
That pissed me off.
Maybe
Wait,
because
I
it's
didn't
the
notice
second
that.
intro.
That was not.
I didn't
But,
say
like,
that.
it's the 3rd season. Like, people who
Yeah,
join the
I know.
recorder round in, like, Season 8 don't call it their Season 1, and everyone's just on, like, really off. Like,
Yes, it was such a missed opportunity. If it actually said round 3, that would have been
would've been
awesome.
so
it would have been so
good.
fitting.
like I know
Yeah.
the intro was really good, and it sounds like such a petty thing, but it would have made the intro so much better for me. if
You
it
know, I was about to
was
say, I don't.
great.
I was about to say it's a really petty thing to complain about because it's not like he had any control over that because it was a good song to use for the intro. But it's just like that would have made it a lot better if
Yeah.
that was a thing. That's all. Season was good though. I liked it.
Yeah, the thing that I said about Grudge Match, which I think was probably most apparent. Well, it was for Season 3 predominantly being. Oh, hello, who left?
Hello, my internet crashed. I'm back. What did I miss?
Right. So, I'm honestly jealous from an organisation point of view of Sam and Bliv in their creation of the teams, because think about when you're creating a team. I don't know. If you're an organizer, you probably know from like rigged teams and stuff how you obviously want to have teams where everyone's going to have fun with their teammates. No one's going to be uncomfortable with those who they're with. You want to create the best commentary possible for the viewers. But the most important thing really
Balance.
that people always go on about is balance. But think how nice it must be to be able to have complete creative freedom over making amazing commentary teams, having zero worry about skill because everyone in that round is capable of killing everyone else in that round.
Yeah.
Literally, you don't have to worry
Yeah.
at all about skill. It's entirely commentary. Put someone with their best friend. Cool, you've got a round where you've got bloody I don't know. What was one of the teams? I've forgotten them all
One
now.
of the teams.
Katie and the Sonic Joey.
In what? Grudge Match?
Grudge Match Season 3.
I think
BJR,
Misha and Lightning were one.
Galaxy.
Yeah.
Brody and Jesse, they're really good friends.
Yeah. So, and those teams would just be so OP in any round other than
They wouldn't be
that.
able to team. That's another thing. Because of that, the commentary that you get in those teams is really only specific to Grudge Match because you can't replicate those teams anywhere else because they would never happen because they're too
Because
good.
the other members in the roster would not be able to kill them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm looking at this Brick and Cappy.
Yeah.
I've got Tux and Lifeleaf on my screen right now.
Yeah, the teams are good.
Yeah.
The thing is, the thing I always like about Grudge Match is that
Lightning and Misha.
it's like it's not like RRs are like most RRs you want to have like a load of fun in them, but you have teams that will never have a chance of winning. In this,
Yeah.
it's like it's so nicely contained that you have good teams that aren't like it's not like me, Joey, and Sid in TTE where we know we're not going to win. Whereas in this, I think Lightning Spark and X Media have about as much chance as I don't know, pick a random team, Venom and Vinny.
Yeah,
Literally
everyone has
any
a chance.
team can win that round. It's
Mhm.
ridiculous.
I think the only issue is I could see is if they add people and some people stop playing Minecraft or some people don't play Minecraft all the time, their skill level goes down slightly. But even then, I think they picked the people well enough that that won't happen.
I realized
I
they
think
joked
they're all
about
just
Misha and
active.
Lightning, and it was them two and Jinko out of orbit.
Yeah.
Oh god.
Yeah, I was gonna say that team.
Yo,
I-
shout out to Misha for the free bow.
I still love in Out of Orbit 7 that we got talks on
I thought we
our
were done
team.
talking about Out of Orbit.
I just want to mention something quickly. Okay,
Fucking promoting the round he's in, isn't he? Hey Max, how's Mina?
It's gone pretty good.
Certainly.
But yeah, Tux just joined our team, and then we were just talking about like the solos left, and then Tux is like, "Oh, what if Misha joined Jinko and Lightning?" And quite literally 5 or 6 seconds later, it happens. I just thought that was like the most perfect timing ever. It made it all the
It was
better.
the
when I
most
saw that
beautiful
team form.
formation of the most unbalanced team ever.
Yeah.
Okay.
What's next up on the line for topics?
Quite an interesting one, yeah. Classification.
Right, I'm going to just say I know literally nothing about this round.
I really didn't pay much attention to that. I'm going to be quite.
Alright, I'll give a summary of what I know. So a few months ago, they came out with a trailer, which was
26 days ago was Experiment, and 2 months ago was trailer.
Yeah, it was incredibly weird, the trailer.
Oh wait, I remember you showed me this. Yeah, you showed me this. It was like really
no
like weird
idea
iron
what
blocks.
was happening in it. He was
Yeah, it was like iron
walking
blocks
around
and
a
some
room
weird-
with
So
iron
yeah,
blocks.
it was really mental weird, and it came with a vote, and you could vote for like a selection of players, but like how good they are in bow and how good they are in melee. So of course I spammed Mr. Cool with melee. Well, I didn't. I gave him like 3 votes.
That's election.
You got me red-handed. And then a few months later, they came out with the season with the teams based roughly around what the votes were
They were done
based
as
off.
well as possible based on like who couldn't make it and the sub.
Yeah, also, it hadn't
They
been
rebalanced.
recorded when they made the trailer.
Yeah, I'm always immediately skeptical. This rarely ever happens, but I'm always immediately skeptical of a round that releases a trailer when it's not been released or even recorded.
That was just a natural thing. Like it was a good idea, but it's just got no security.
Yeah.
Because yeah,
Because we don't know anything about Awesome
what would
Sluggy.
happen?
We don't know how
like,
good he's going to be.
Like, what would happen if the season was recorded and had to get scrapped? Or even like worst case scenario, one of the organizers just gets fed up and quits the round. You have this trailer out there with voting on it, and they'll never have a season.
Or like, what if you have to get a sub because one person can't make it or doesn't
They had
want
to get.
play?
I think they had to get 4 subs.
Then what is the
four.
point of the vote if the people definitely won't turn up? It's an issue there. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's something you can't.
I mean, some
help.
people
yeah, but the
like,
thing is, that's the
sometimes-
issue with doing something like that, though. It's because of like unforeseen circumstances. You can do a vote all you want, but you're gonna have to change some things.
Well, what if
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
the person like has to go like last minute? They just realize that wait, I can't make it.
Yeah, it's
Well, I suppose last minute subs is hardly like rare to a recorder round. I think the other thing was, which is not really something the round could have helped, was the fact of a vote like that kind of concept would have probably worked better on a round if there were some better known people in there. Because with the greatest respect, I don't think a lot of people would know the skill level of some of the people in that round.
I love the 22
wouldn't-
scoops.
I wouldn't look at some of the people in there and be able to tell you whether they were good at bow or melee or not.
yeah. I'm gonna be honest. I only gave Mr. Cool the melee vote because he was the one I recognized the most, and like I know he's good, so I gave him
Yeah.
the vote. The other people
Actually,
I
I'm
had no
watching this
clue.
intro. I don't know anyone. I actually don't know
In fact,
anybody.
This is actually-
I'm pretty sure
Broseph,
the round
there
did
we
have
go.
some well-known people in it, and they
Yeah, Mr. Cool.
they left.
I've seen Mr. Cool and Broseph and Cobra, and I feel like that's the ones I know.
of 2 people who were in there.
This podcast is just my personal shout out to Mr. Cool.
Dude, he's pretty cool,
Mark
hence the
Harbour.
name.
Hell yeah.
So,
Yeah,
but the
they
actual
spe- I
round,
think-
they fucking came out so well. The thing that struck me the most sort of had resemblance to sort of like a round that has like a passion to it. Like, just look at like the post.
Yeah, the post was very well
Like,
written.
Are your data collected, test subjects, evidence found, ranged positioning, melee positioning?
I know,
Yeah.
like it's literally. It's just so well made. Like, look at SNS Corporation's background information. What's that called? Is that
Yeah.
like an anagram?
SNS, Professor Scoops and Professor Sluggy, SNS Corporations.
No. Is in like the first thing in corporate philosophy. Is that is that an anagram?
Wait, where the fuck are you, look?
Yes.
In SNS Corporations, that's what an anagram is, right?
An
with the
acrostic,
letters.
bad fan. Acrostic.
What's an anagram? Oh, is that when the letters like
Anagram is like SNS,
backwards?
Professor Scoops and Professor Sluggy. Welcome to the English literature portion
Wait,
of the
no, you're wrong.
Bad fan, can you define an adjective?
Wait, what did I say?
Can you please write in constant prose for 5 minutes and hand in to your
doing
examiner?
words.
I don't like this podcast.
We're gonna Yeah, it's just
Okay,
No, yeah,
One
looking at the
stick.
looking at the
That's
post and
the
looking at the
word we're
intro.
looking for.
The intro's made really nicely. The post is made really nicely. It's laid out really nicely. The only issue is skepticism on the trailer, but it worked. And if it worked,
It did work. Yeah.
Here's an issue. I got an issue here. It's not due to the posting. This is going back
Is it
to
Mystical
the
didn't
votes.
win?
Mystical did not win. No, it's back to the votes. Like, if you're doing votes for teams like this, if you can't get the exact teams, it's like unforeseen, and you have to try to make do.
Yeah.
The problem with classification is the voting was based off of PvP skill, and the teams were made to balance that. If you bring in subs, it could very easily just break the whole balance of
Yeah,
it.
how well can you balance the
Technology
teams,
at the
right?
bottom of the post, I'll just read it out. It is with great sadness that I inform you of how 4 out of the 16 of the original test subjects could not make the actual day of the experiment. The trailer had to come out before the round was played, as we felt it was the best way to acquire the votes. Professor Scoops and I assure the viewers that we've done everything to keep all other constant. Very.
Oh my
What?
god, this is fantastic.
Yeah, I think you meant
love how
variables
this
constant.
is. I
No,
love
we
how
could
this
do-
is written.
What?
Okay, no, I do have to say, I didn't watch the round, but I really got to give it to Sluggy for putting this together because he clearly has.
You know what I mentioned earlier about Lethal and CAC putting so much effort into the presentation of the round? This is...
Yeah, in terms of
To
presentation,
stick to this!
is on par.
Yeah, to stick to this, staying as
honestly,
scientists. They're staying to the
It's a season one. It's a season one. It's very fresh, and I hope they have a season 2. I want to see
a season
where
2
they
of
go
this.
with it. Yeah, I honestly want to see what they do with it.
The only thing I'd want to see is players I know.
Thumbs up.
Yeah.
My personal RR rating is thumbs up for me. Carry on.
I'm gonna give it a strong yes.
A maximum 50
yes.
seal of approval. Strong yes.
Give it a strong 7 to a light 8 on this one.
12 out of 10. It's a good dog, Brent. Right.
Okay, shall we move
next
on?
up,
We're
boys.
done with classification.
Yeah,
Want to move on
okay.
to the next
Ooh.
one?
Next one I'd like to start off.
Have fun.
Right, we're going to talk about Stranded, which was a one-time recorder round which was released a little while ago now. I don't know exactly how long, probably like a month ago.
It wasn't that long.
I think it was about a month.
No, it was.
Before you start talking
Yes,
about
it was a month.
The finale was 14 days ago, so
Wait, really? Shit, okay.
Time flies.
Well, okay, it was released
And that's what I
originally when I was in America, so... Like, the intro came out when I was in America.
the intro was 29 days ago. So
Because I remember I was stood in Universal Studios when I posted the sassy comment of... so I think I said...
That fan is dedicated to the RR course.
I think I said something along the lines of, so this is just a battle royale but with 16 players instead of 17.
Okay, I much more enjoyed Stranded than Battle Royale. I thought Stranded was
yeah,
same
same.
put together.
It is very
It
nice.
proved me wrong, I must say, but I think... So it was organised by Andrizzle and Leon, and it had 16 players, of which, with the exception of Andrizzle and Leon, nobody knew who else was playing the round. So everyone
and on the post they're all censored as well.
It's all censored. You get a warning before you watch the intro. Like, it's done with the idea of you have to use Mumble to discover who else is in the game, and you're allowed to cross teams.
You just hear French and you realise Fucano's playing.
Like,
And then you run away.
Yeah.
yeah, so, and cross-teaming, it was sort of like Allies and Betrayal,
It was Infinite
similar to
Allies,
Battle
I think.
Royale in that sense.
it reminds me of New Dawn 11, which is honestly one of my favorite, probably my favorite RR of all time to play.
It's a really nice concept. It's a really good concept.
To be honest, though,
It might be
They
similar to
did it really
RRs,
well too.
but it's
I
nice.
think.
they did.
And it ended in a final fight between Flues and Frost.
How could
That's
you go wrong with that?
hilariously good.
How does that?
No, I do say though. Originally, I was against the Bathroom. When I first saw your comment on the Stranded intro post, I was like, yeah, that is a bit odd. Why would they allow Andy and Leon to play? But honestly, it really didn't affect the game at all. Like, I thought it would, but coming from somebody who watched the entire thing,
No, that's the thing. I agree. It didn't really change the game much, but my point of view wasn't from the idea of it affecting the game. Mine was from the idea of it just ruins the point. Not for any reason that it would have any gameplay changes, because think of this, you've got 16 players in a recorded round, and the thing that makes a recorded round special is the fact of you're just wandering around in the daytime, you hear a voice that you recognise, maybe it's one of your friends, and you're like, oh hey, look at this, you're in this round,
I have a question.
you're playing, that's cool. If you have then two perspectives, like if say you were watching that from Andy and Leon's perspective, what were they doing? Like, I didn't watch either of them for it to see, but like did they pretend to act surprised when they saw people? They clearly knew exactly who was playing. Like, it just kind of ruined it. Like, I'm not saying it was cheating, because your ability to kill someone isn't influenced by whether you know them. Because if you find someone in the game, it doesn't matter if you knew they were playing beforehand. If you hear the voice of Oblivion TU, you're probably going to be a little bit scared.
The thing is, like in that game, if you don't know who's playing, you might not know some people's voices. Like, so you might hear a voice and be like, "Who is that?" But if Andrizzle and like Leon know who's playing, they're going to hear a voice and go, "That's Cass," or "That's Zero," or "That's Flute."
That's the only gameplay thing that I think actually makes it something.
No, I think there's way more than that personally, because the thing about the normal player for the Stranded is they have to play knowing literally no one in the round, and just knowing not what their playstyle is at all. Andy and Leon, and they know what their playstyles are like, so they can play in counter to that. Like, if they make an example, if they invited an entire Stranded roster of people who were really good at PvP,
so Grudge Match play for Stranded season.
They might be skeptical they might go, oh, we know that all the rest of the players in Stranded are really good at PvP, so we're a bit skeptical to go up on the surface in case they want to backstab us, because they know they'll kill us. So their playstyle is completely different to someone who has no idea how the other people play.
So I feel like
of course it wasn't prevalent. It wasn't prevalent in the actual season. That's the thing I was want to clarify. But just because it wasn't prevalent doesn't mean it's fine. It's like saying it's like being at a workshop in the workplace, and it's like, dude, I was swinging around a huge metal bar and you weren't wearing a hard hat. You didn't hit me, so it's fine.
And the thing is, I feel like for something like this, because you don't know who the players are, to have a spectator view who knows who every player is, that'd have been great. That'd be fantastic.
They really missed out by not
watching. If I watched Andrizzle or Leon just fly around, going, and here's Flues, he's close to Frost. He doesn't realise he's close to. That'd be really cool.
Can I just point out,
if you're in the Mumblecore and you can hear that, you can hear the live reaction of when Flusemaker and Frostbreath realise each other are in the game, meet up and start teaming. Don't you think that would be much better from a spectator's perspective than watching Andy and Leon seeing people who they already know are playing completely?
I like the concept of the round. I like the idea of having, you don't know who's playing, you just dropped in, but having two people who know they're dropped in, they know what's happening. I feel like
as much as I do empathise with that if you put that much work into an RR and then you're not actually going to have to play it, I agree that must be quite demotivating, but I think it was quite ignorant of Leon and Andy to use their primary excuse for playing as, well, no one had a problem with it. And to that I said, well, if you've been invited to an RR and the organiser says to you, do you mind me playing this RR that I've worked really hard on? It doesn't matter what your true thoughts are. Do you reckon anyone in that round in their right mind is going to turn around to those two and say, no, actually, I don't think
you've put 2 months of organisation into this, fuck off.
On Andy and Leon to turn around and say, okay, look, I know we've worked hard on this, but there's got to be other ways around it. Like, they could have done the spec perspective, for example.
Also, I think making a round like this,
just don't do it.
If you make a round like this, shouldn't you expect that you might not be able to play if you're making a round like this?
Which is why I think they should have made the decision themselves. Okay, we know it's unfair for us to play. It's almost like they were like, okay, well, we want to play, but rather than just doing it, we'll put it down to the other people who we know. It's almost like they knew everyone else was gonna say they were okay with it, whether they were or not, because they really wanted to. And I can understand them wanting to play. It's a cool idea, but surely it takes so much enjoyment factor out of the round. Because for
I don't want to shit on the round because it's a good idea.
Special wasn't there for them. It was. They were playing the round for the sake of it.
Entertaining, for them.
Yeah, I don't want to shit on the round because it's a good idea and it was a good round. But
it was really
just,
good. I enjoyed it a lot. From 14 of the perspecperspectives.
Let's point out, spectators in a mumble round are really good footage. Can I just point that out for anyone who's doing a mumble round? Please have
At the Sonic Joey, next Pathfinder season. Get on it, boy.
next Pathfinder season.
Also,
You
this is
guys said that
it's
was
happening.
The only
Doing
problem with
Mumble
having
season.
spectators in Mumble, because what if the players in game can hear the spectators?
No, you just mute your mic.
You
on
just
Mumble.
mute. You just mute your mic.
Oh.
Mute your mic on Mumble, and you stay in the Mumble server so you can hear the positional. I know BJ and Lord did that for again U.11, and they
Well,
said it was really good.
Have there been
Uh,
any recorded spectator perspectives of the Mumble recorded around?
What do you do? Wait, do you like
don't
go
think so.
into the channel, mute your mic, then mute the other spectator on Mumble, and then go into TS or something with them?
Yeah.
No. Oh, yeah, actually, yeah, sorry. You would go in.
could do
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, if you wanted to do 2 spectators.
I mean, on Cube Season 14, that's kind of what they did with the teams, because they
okay.
were all using Mumble, except each team kind of had
Oh,
their separate
yeah.
TeamSpeak channel.
Oh.
I do kind of like that.
Okay.
Huh,
I do actually
yeah.
kind of like that.
It's a good idea.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, I think
will-
we've just
okay,
yeah.
One of the things I will say about Stranded, which is not, and they aren't to blame for this, it's just something that really bothered me in episode 1. Kyokyo Winner has been respawned.
Oh yeah, I
Yeah.
saw that.
That was
just
no one's fault. It was just kind of it was just a split second in episode 1 where it's like everyone in the game knows at least one of the players
This
now,
isn't me
which
trashing
kind
on
of sucks.
Arctic, but that's kind of what happens when you play around on a server which is so set up to be hosted in orderly public games, and then you put an RR on it, because like Arctic is set up under the assumption that nothing's going to go wrong, and when you have to respawn someone, it would have never occurred to Leon in a million years, wait, is the respawn message going to appear in chat? He's going to be thinking, right, death messages, leave messages, join messages, respawn messages. No, that's never been at the front of his mind.
Yeah,
That's
it's
fair
especially-
enough. You
it
would
is
never
especially-
then
Why is your
do.
server so good?
It's especially the
exactly
case for
that.
it's especially the case for around with very kind of niche circumstances in terms of the game
Exactly.
modes. Like most record rounds, it's like, oh, I can add these game modes to the server, no problem. But like for this one, it's everything has to be configured, otherwise the whole game mode is ruined.
There is a fix
Yeah,
for that if they want to do a
configure-
next season of Stranded. Everyone go into their settings and turn off chat.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was
Well, I
anything
mean,
even being
there is, like,
said in
how are they
Stranded?
see episode markers?
Then you can't do any commands, so.
Oh, yeah, episode markers, that's true.
No episode markers, then you can't do commands.
You can do
Wow.
you can do like the title command. I think it comes like in the
You have
middle
to
of
be in
the
1.9.
No,
I mean,
no,
like, you-
No, it's
title- no,
one-
titles- titles 1.8.
1.8.
Oh,
There weren't
sorry.
teams. There weren't teams, but like you can't do /PMC or anything like that with chat off.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, do you want
That's
to
right,
move
man.
on?
Yeah, we can
Ooh, this
Sure.
next one's gonna be a spicy
Okay,
meatball.
Incidendo. Anyone wanna?
I'm gonna let somebody else comment before I jump in.
Wait, we already covered incidentals.
The one thing I will mention, which is it's no fault to the organizers or anything. It's just for me, it was kind of. This is also no fault to the players because I know the circumstances. It was kind of shitty that the team that ended up winning spent 10 minutes. They started having to meet up 10 minutes into meetup, and there was only like one player left on like 5 hearts or something like that. It was, of course, it was because their other teammate had I think it was lagged out, and they had to wait for them to get back. But it was just kind of shitty how it was like everyone else fought, and there was one person left who was really weak, and then this team comes up and goes, "Hey," one like couple shots and wins. It's a
Yeah.
bit crappy.
I mean, to be fair, they did look like they felt bad. Like they clearly showed an element of etiquette
Remorse.
at the end by letting him heal and giving
Yeah.
him a bit of stuff. Like it was unfortunate circumstances. They shouldn't really have waited that long to go. But it wasn't just a case of they saw no error in their way, killed and be like, well, GG. Like
Mhm.
it was a mistake, and the people, like the team that won, clearly like acknowledged that. So
I can-
I had no real problem with that.
I can respect Incidendo for being 1.9 recorded round because I do think that being a 1.9 recorded round only does add a good amount of variety to the.
I agree.
the
It's new
stuff
play
on
styles,
subreddit.
it's new game modes. It's
Yeah, it is nice to see it. Although I personally, roster doesn't really do anything for me. It's not necessarily a bad roster. It just doesn't really make me go.
it's
like,
got a lot of
"Ooh,
people
what's
you'd
that?"
sort of like. I don't. It's not meant to be like a derogatory or like hate anything, but from Reggie organizing, it seems like a lot of people you'd expect to be a
It
Reggie.
didn't
recorded
offer
round.
anything new roster-wise, and I feel like if you're creating a recorded round, you either have to really have you have to be heavy or really succeed in either the roster or the game mode / concept. If you can really rock one of those, then that makes it an entertaining recorder round. Incydendo was definitely leaning more towards game modes, which is why I'm lenient on it having not a great roster. But at the same time, it's like, I do feel like they could have done more, and I hope that they do more in future seasons for Season 2 and onwards. And I do think it can be more entertaining. But at the moment, I don't think it's a bad recorded round. It just didn't really catch my eye as like anything too special. That's all.
It's a very Reggie flow. It's not bad, but it's very Reggie flow RR.
Oh, sorry. To follow up on that, you said something earlier about how it's like a different meta in 1.9. I was gonna say this earlier. Do you think like some of the stranded like formats, like not knowing who it is or mumble, do you think that will become like new meta for recorder rounds, or just something that will just appear once in a while?
I kind of hope at least. I kind of, even though Strand's a one-time thing, I kind of hope that it comes back in similar form in another round at least.
Stranded 2. This time it's Stranded.
It was a very good round. No, it's Stranded Royale.
Stranded Retribution. Hooray!
I would like to see
Stranded Redux.
Strand of Redux, Stranded Refraction.
Yeah.
Strand 2. Strand Harder.
No, I love Trunk Loader. That was a real dig. I promise. I love your Vader. But yeah, I think I do like the fact that they did 1.9. It didn't really bother me that there was nothing else special to it, because the rareness of 1.9 plus RRs, that was what made it special. Like for a season 1, like if they just did that every season, it would get boring. But for a season 1, doing a vanilla sort of style thing just with 1.9, I felt was enough. I didn't feel as though it lacked anything.
Incydendo UHC will always be played in the latest version, so it does have something.
But I
Does have something going for it.
The only thing that really changes all
Except
that
snapshots.
much for UHC is the PvP system. So I don't think I'm not going to be seeing polar bears making too much of a difference to UHC gameplay.
Hell yeah, Woodland
personally.
Mansion.
I don't know,
I
man.
want to see a polar bear win a UHC.
I'm going to be honest though, I do think it would be cool if they actually did kind of take game modes and invert them into the newer versions to kind of see how that would work out as well, because I do think if you just use especially if there aren't any updates for Minecraft between seasons, it kind of gets a little dry. If you're using the same version for a couple seasons and you're just doing vanilla, it can get a little bit but if you take variants of popular game modes and see how they adapt to new versions, I think that could be a lot more interesting.
Yeah.
Also, there's way more difference in 1.9 and 1.8 than the PvP change, because, isn't PvP a lot harder?
Yeah, PvP.
PvE is a lot harder.
PvE's a bastard.
The
It's
skeletons are ridiculous.
Yeah.
Oh, do you want to talk about baby zombies? Hate them.
Oh
The
boy.
skeletons are worse, man. They're standing there for an hour.
You
with
don't
skeletons.
know. You don't know true pain until you fight a baby zombie. Like I've played a lot of like 1.9 stuff. I could quite confidently take down a skeleton. Baby zombies are fucking nightmares. I hate them so much.
I thought you were used to killing babies.
That's number 2.
Fuck!
Okay, moving on.
Okay, do you want to do the last of our 10 recorder?
I feel like I should
Like
comment on
an
it
hour
last.
in.
If I comment on this last, it will lead into our next topic, so I'll comment last.
Okay, Desire Season 6 came out recently. Yeah, 6. It was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so it was a random teams where the random teams were based on skill. So they were divided into 4 groups, I think, and then each team had 1 player from each skill group, and it created some really wacky teams, which I found really interesting. Like, I didn't particularly like that there were so many newcomers, but when you have the RR team of Apex, Twinkie, The Rock Project, Fairy Juice, and Volcano, like, what the fuck is that?
Yeah, I think it was a pretty entertaining
Daddy's
season.
hilarious.
I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna be honest here. I thought the world looked
Oh, yeah, I hated that
Yeah,
terrain.
it
It made it
wasn't
really
nice
hard
at
to
all.
watch. Like, I
Also-
understand that it was supposed to be cool, but I honestly think that you could have just gone with the game mode swapping thing and had that, maybe added a couple
Oh wow, the
more.
terrain looks like if you smash a color TV.
Yeah, no, it was like I was kind of repulsed by it because it just made it so hard to watch caving, and even like the actual season was good, and by actual season I'm looking at the fights.
Why
Like
are there
it
melons?
was spread out. It was good. It was nice, but did not like the terrain at all.
Yeah, I enjoyed some of the teams a lot. Like, I think Michael, Hanny, Jake, and Sir was an interesting one. Crimson,
Blue strip,
Lenel,
Brody, and
Brick.
Clappy.
Yeah, I was about to say Lord and... Yeah, some interesting teams.
Yeah, there was some...
Bloody,
Sword.
Kelt, Sneak, Space Pod, and
That was my
Sleeve.
favorite.
They are quite good teams.
Yeah.
That one does
And
not
then
seem
you-
like. I just want to know which of Space Pod and Speedo wasn't in the top tier PvP.
Good question. I feel like Speed would probably be the
Speed.
only because he's more acknowledged, I guess. Within like Spacepod is kind of more new to recorded rounds, so I could understand people not being
Yeah,
aware.
but
Of
he's a god.
I'd put Spacepod above Speed.
Yeah, but
No, I would put him above Speed. But what I'm saying is to an organizer
He's just very
who's not
rusty.
very
that's
well.
all.
He's to an organizer that's not very well acquainted with him being a new player. I could understand how they could go with the bias of like, oh yeah, Speed's good, and not really know too much about him. But that's just a guess. I don't really know.
my assumption would be that he was the number one.
Yeah,
And
maybe.
Tommy would have, when letting him sub for his recorder round, would have acknowledged his PvP skill.
Wait, I'm just reading this. Wacky Rod is meant to swap every block on the map for a block with a similar colour. That terrain did not look like it was doing that.
It did not. Yeah, the clay.
Because if it was all
on
the same colour, wouldn't it just be melons?
the clay blocks for the stone were of all different colors. It wasn't just one consistent color.
Right.
It was interesting.
Again, colour TV.
Also, there was no point in collecting food as the terrain was made of hay bales and melon. It was,
Yeah.
you break one block and you have 3 loaves of bread, and the map's made of hay bales. It's like you have food forever.
Yeah.
Hey, Satfix 2.0.
Just have hay bales everywhere.
Ultimate set fix.
Starter stack of hay
We want
bales.
to end off that topic.
It's the new
Okay,
meta.
right, if we're ending
Yeah.
off, I'll make my last comment about Desire.
Oh god.
How does an intro end up using the same song as another intro?
I think
Here we go, guys.
what
It's the
was
table transition
said-
to the intros topic.
I think what was said is that Kraft was unaware of it until he began production, and at that time they had already asked Fission, and Fission said it was okay. But even then, the intro was barely synced to the song in the first place, so I think they could have easily found a substitute. But I don't know. I wasn't a huge fan of it, but I can also
The thing is,
excuse it.
Craft isn't very active, so the fact that he wasn't aware that Fission Season 2 existed, that
The
doesn't,
idea
Is
that
understandable.
that doesn't piss
Yeah.
me off too much. And the fact that they then went and asked Fission if it was okay, and they said yes, fine, that doesn't annoy me, but I thought A Fission 2 used the song an awful lot better than Desire 6.
They did. The Fission 2
Yeah.
intro I much prefer over Desire 6, to be quite
My
honest.
issue is, with all the songs that are available to be chosen, all the songs you could come up with, all the like different songs in, even if we're just going to like the regular dance, EDM, dubsteps music that people use for intros,
Dubstep.
Or
Wow.
Cynical Cynical 5, which really doesn't use music.
what is the chances, like the actual like probability chance that you're going to end up choosing the same song as somebody else if you're putting creative idea into what the music is? Because
Yeah, I know.
like if you're gonna if there's any chance you're gonna end up with someone else's, like if it happens completely randomly, sure, it's small probability, but sure. But there's so much music out there that's royalty free that you could use to have a creative new intro, and the chance you have 2 intros in the same is just ludicrous to me.
It's like asking like a person you don't know what their favorite song is and getting it right.
I suppose Kraft's style of intro is a very classic. Like his intros are very well made, but they're not outside the box. Like they're all the same type of music, basic renders. He's never experimented with art or anything like
But
that.
even if you want to use the same type of
you make-
music,
when you ask Kraft to make your intro, you know the type of intro that you're going to get because his style is very specific to him. So
Having said that, he doesn't make bad
no,
intros.
he doesn't.
No,
That's
it's
what I
really
said.
good.
His intros are very generic. But
they're not bad. They're
well-made.
consistent. The thing
Consistency,
is,
yes.
even if you're sticking to one kind of music, there's a lot of music in there.
But the thing is, if you were looking like I've never made an RR intro. I've never really tried. But if he has a style of intro that always fits the same sort of genre of music, and he looks up onto I don't know what people really use to find music, but
You can even
he-
use YouTube if you really
Yeah.
want.
even if
That's what I
say
use.
search into YouTube, okay, but
EDM, dance, remix, whatever.
and you found that
Vivo.
song, and you'd never heard it before on any RR that's sort of like at the top of popularity. So
Yeah.
okay, TTE has never used that song for a season. WMC has never used that song for a season. Right, that checks all the boxes. We'll use that. It's a good song.
But how much? I don't know how many views the song would have. But like, if it's got a decent amount of views, you can expect that people like might have heard it before and like try and be a bit more like original. I guess. Like.
But,
Katie's a hipster.
well, I suppose I don't listen to the type of music that is used for RR intros to when I'm listening to music. So I've never really had a situation apart from the like intro creators who use remixes of pop songs. But I don't know about you, but how often do you listen to an RR intro and you're familiar with the song that's used for it?
I don't.
For me, it's
I
a
don't
few
think it's like
times.
the song itself, but like.
Boston makes me feel good.
Okay, yeah. Well,
And the SpongeBob music, hell yeah. But
okay, there's-
but like I know this sounds like petty almost, but like a good example is the first Grudge match intro. That intro to me was fantastic. Not
Right, sorry for the technical issues. I think I might have accidentally stopped the recording. We lost probably about 5 minutes, but it's not a problem. It means we can properly introduce the topic that we sort of blended into our final one, which is music in recorded rounds, intros. So
right. I'll pick up from where you said the recording ended. So like Grudge Match decided to use a like rock metal song in their intro for season 1. Which is such a variation to the music you get in rounds, the music, the generic EDM, dance, electronic, dubstep music you get in every recorded round. And that was such like a breath of fresh air into what RLs are, because I get that EDM like works nicely for like a beat, it works nicely for putting renders onto, but when so much EDM is used and it's like the same style of EDM that 2 rounds end up using the same song with Fission and Desire, I feel like the music should be either broadened or just completely like opened up to different genres so they don't cross over each other.
Coming from a guy who listens to a lot of EDM myself, I actually think that there is a fair amount of variation within the genre for intros.
Yeah.
Like, I've seen a lot of different styles of EDM on it, but I understand what you're saying, and that there's enough general variation musically for it that it's just kind of refined to one genre. But I'm only saying this again because I don't know if it was cut out in that time period or not. But
Yeah.
the reason that it's done is because it fits the formula almost perfectly in most cases, and it's harder to sync a song up to an intro, especially when intros have already had the expectation to use EDM, because that's pretty much all they've been using. With the
how many RRs have
cases.
used like a big beat to just bounce each render in to view or each team in? It works,
It works. It's easy.
But when it works so well that people end up using the same song and overlapping and not realizing they've done that, I feel
What
like
are some other cases of people using the same song twice, if there are even are?
Dom said there was like 3 RRs that ended up using the same intro.
There's definitely been something. It's tip of my tongue. It was late last year. I cannot remember. But it was definitely
some
two
bad
overlaps.
definitely happened before this.
Yep.
I know that what was it? It was
eluded me for
split.
now.
It was split 7, and a season of a recorded round that I don't even think it was posted to the Reddit, but it had a tie to the Reddit, which was like I think it was International or something that had the same song,
Okay, yeah.
something like that. Yeah, they had the
The fact that more than one round can have that happen as well. Like there's a lot of EDM. If you ask anybody who's like a fan of EDM, like message at VernonNUHC on Twitter. If you had just asked him to give you a whole range of like music and that style, you can get so much stuff that would work for an RR intro. Just beats, put renders onto that. It's quite nice and easy. But like to have it where it's such like a narrow amount of music that it ends up overlapping each other, it's ludicrous for me to be able to work out how that happens.
Yeah.
The probability of that happening in the grand scheme of how much fucking music there is.
Yeah, I do agree with that, but like I don't know if this bit got cut out, like what I was saying about how you would search for a piece of music, and if you're a type of intro maker that has a pretty set style of music, and you've got a set style of intro, and therefore you're going to be using a similar type of music each time, if you're searching out that type of music and you're choosing, you're not going to be on the 120th page looking for a song, are you?
You're not going to be going for some like abstract Albanian folk rock EDM band who's fucking made a song like 2 years.
Like,
one
despite
view.
the fact there's
but-
so many music, so
Yeah,
much
you
music
said
is
that.
out there. Like you're generally going to be exposed to the same pool of music that occasionally you're going to get a crossover. And there's probably times where people have gone, oh, that's a song that I'd like to use, but it has been used before. It's probably
definitely.
because this is just a time where it's come out, because Kraft made the intro before he checked it. He got
no,
to
like hate to
communities
yeah.
and he didn't know Fission existed. It probably happens quite a lot with the depth people will go to find, but I can't say that for sure because I'm not an intro maker. But I don't.
no hate to Craft for not realizing. I don't expect someone to have like an
definitely not.
encyclopedic knowledge of every RR and every song they've used, but I just like try and broaden it slightly, like even a bit, like.
Okay, so so just to broaden on the topic of music, which is obviously quite a big aspect of RR intros, Glenn's topic, which was in general what makes an RR intro enjoyable, which is very general, which is kind of nice because this could go on for a while. But just in general, what aspects to an intro are there that make it more enjoyable for you?
Something that actually catches your attention. It's not like when I see the same, we've talked about when I see the same EDM season 1 intro. It doesn't. I don't remember it.
Yeah, something memorable.
I can say, yeah, that was a good beat. It was fine, but I come back tomorrow. I'm like, what round was that? But what was the name of the round?
Redeeming quality, which to
Yeah.
anybody with a decent RR knowledge, if you said it, they could say something about the intro. Like,
I feel like for me, like having if you want to do like generic EDM, generic stuff like that, it's fun. But for one thing that's kind of hard to get, but I quite like seeing, is rather than just renders or like player face, it's like art, some sort of.
We've discussed this before, and I'm fairly different on that. In the fact
but
that
like
art really limits the potential.
The thing is, custom art. Like, what catches your eye more? Looking at the screen and seeing a player render, just player body, player thing that you've seen many times before in an intro, or suddenly you see a kind of art that's completely different looking, and you see it in an intro. It's like, oh, that intro had that art style. That's kind of cool, and then you might. Like, it might be more like memorable to you to see it. And it's they've got that extra mile.
If well executed, then art can be good. But I'd never say an RR intro was better because it used art than renders, because renders has so much more potential.
I'd argue against that. You have renders is you can move the arms.
It depends how you look at it. Yeah.
Yeah.
As an artist myself, I definitely prefer to see art in intro because I much more appreciate the creative aspect to it. It takes a lot more work and effort, and I think generally it's more appealing.
You would think that.
Well, yeah, no, I'm not saying that excuses it. I'm saying that's pretty much why I think that. But it's a lot. I much prefer to see art in intros. However, I also do totally understand and acknowledge how using art can definitely limit what the intro maker can do creatively themselves, because just depending on how the art is done, you can only do so many things with a certain style of art. If, for instance, you draw it in a certain proportion or a certain style, it can limit. But I doubt there's been many times where the intro maker has actually been restricted to a fair degree by the art. I feel like, if anything, it greatens overall the quality of the intro because you are using custom art.
And sometimes the intro maker's the one making the art as well. Like, if you've got Kanako and Pathfinder, he's designing his art entirely in the way he wants to design the art. And he's designed the intro entirely around that art, so he can base his intro off that art.
Sid's done that a few times as well. Done the intro.
Didn't Zev do that for New Dawn?
Zev didn't do the intro.
That's the thing.
Zev just did the art. Zev just does the art.
Art definitely has the most potential when the intro has been designed around the art. When you have a situation where an organizer says to you, "Hi, can you make the intro for my round?" and you find out when you're about to do that, oh, by the way, our round has art. Like,
I feel like that should just be communication.
That's then an awkward position. Like,
I should communicate that.
That should definitely be down to the intro creator more than the organizer. In my opinion,
that's just like how well the organizer communicates. I want you to make an intro, but here's some art you can use.
It's like if like someone made an intro for W or MC and not seen a single season before, and then they realize that they have to use art.
Yeah.
Yeah, they'd be a bit shocked.
Oh god, this is
There's this portfolio of 50 plus arts.
Okay, so we've got music, we've got art. What else we haven't got an intro.
Well, we mentioned this before. Custom music.
Yeah, custom music.
Custom music, Which I'll
That's
reiterate.
something I see mentioned quite a lot. It's like, oh, good intro, but the text could be clearer. It's sort of a thing that's sort of ignored a bit. It's like, you spend so much time focusing on the syncing and getting a cool song and the renders or the art or whatever you've got, and then you just get Times New Roman shoved over the top of it, like.
This episode is sponsored by 1001fonts.com, the best place to get all the font fire for your font needs.
Ran by Mr. Cool.
I think pacing is a big
the Times New Roman
factor.
could work if like it fits well with the intro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, the thing is,
And what
like,
Glenn
but then
mentioned,
in some
pacing as well
intros,
is good. You can have like if you have one team on the screen for a couple of seconds and then the next one. But
Yeah.
I'm not mentioning any intros, but
also putting pacing and font together. If you've got a font that's kind of slightly hard, and you've got a really fast-paced intro, good luck working out who the fuck's playing.
yep.
Just pause the intro over and over.
I love hearing the music go silent and then play again, then go silent, go play.
If you have to pause the intro over and over to take in everything in the intro, it's probably too fast.
Like,
Putting it out there.
yeah, the best intros are the ones you can look at immediately and go, yes.
Those are the best intros. Something that it tells you everything when you watch it once. You don't have to go back and.
And then if you want to go back and watch it and it has little intricate details that you didn't miss before.
Oh, that's different. Yeah. But all the main information should be presented for.
Yeah.
You can watch it once and, you know.
Yeah.
What I mentioned before about custom music, I know it's hard, but I'd love to see more of it because a lot of the custom music intros I've seen are like, wow, this is really cool. But
and as I also mentioned, there's so many good music artists in the UHC community who are like, if they had the opportunity to like show them, like, I'll just name a few who I can pick off the top of my head. Sean 081799246942942942 number. Flusemaker, Incipiens, Stolaz, IX. So many people who make music, involve in music, have fun with music. If they have the chance to make, if they wanted to, obviously, don't force them by gunpoint. But if they had the chance to make like music for an intro, that would be so like, cause it would avoid like the overlapping thing. Because who the fuck's gonna manage to get Sean again? Get Sean's music he made for one round and use it for another.
Yeah, it's easier said than done because time constraints and whatnot. But yeah, I'd love to see it.
Is there anything else for an intro? Haven't they?
Background, I guess.
Nothing else to add?
Kind of. Well, you don't want to have it look crappy.
Yeah,
Just in
that's
general.
good.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want that.
I mean, people shit on it a lot, but the generic looking at renders and having just
Cut it all there.
like, yeah. I mean, it can look nice in rare circumstances, but overall, if I'm going to see a render in a flat, all right.
Yeah.
Okay, do you want to move on then?
We
Yeah,
can move on.
don't chug along.
Alright, so the next thing was about different referral systems for recorded rounds. Now, I did tweet something about it earlier, but since I tweeted it at like 4 PM EU time,
Follow @BadFanMC on Twitter, everybody.
That plan kind of failed, but from rounds that you've been, does anybody want to like share a referral system? Or don't like do it if you think the organizer wouldn't want you to, or you could just do it anonymously if you want to say the system but don't want to like name the round. Anyone got anything?
I'm trying to think of like
diving in
ones.
first.
I'm trying to think of ones that have been special or interesting that aren't just the straight up referrals.
Right, do you guys want to talk about Strong now?
Strong.
Strong now?
So, for those who aren't aware, Dom in Out of Orbit came up with an idea
I
of a
explain it because I'm
strong
actually
no.
in the fucking round.
Yeah, let
start.
them do it.
So Out of Orbit has kind of a very, mostly a kind of just a traditional referral system. You know, you
Mostly.
vote for people you like. Don't vote for people you don't like. But in one of the recent seasons, I suggested an addition, which is the strong no, which is if someone you can vote for a strong no for someone, which is basically like if a no is like I don't really like this person, I would rather not see him in the round. Strong no is like I don't get along with this person. My experience in the round would be made way much worse with them there as well. Please do not add them. And how it works now, Warb, I think, is if you get like 2 or 3 strong no's, it doesn't matter how many yeses you get, instantly invalid.
So imagine the UN Security Council where Russia can veto any bill that... Politics! Carry on.
So yes, if it's like if there's someone controversial who's getting a referral and there's a couple of people around who really can't stand them, they can put strong no's, and that would make sure the person doesn't get in.
So
Yeah.
a referral system which I used one time, which I really liked. It was one I made for Mark for Death, which was because at the time after season 1 had aired, and in the gap between season 1 and 2, there were 3 organisers, which were myself, Tony, and Glyph, and we came up with the idea of, okay, so we want to do referrals now for season 2. There were quite a few people who we knew we were giving a vote, and we wanted to have a lot of control over who got in while still giving the players in the round the vote. So what we did was we took everyone who we wanted to give a referral, me, Tony and Glyph, and we voted on them between the 3 of us, and the amount of player votes that the person needed to get into the round was dependent on the amount of organisers which backed them getting in. So if only 1 out of 3 of us wanted them to get into the round, they required 90% of the rest of the roster to get in. If 2 out of 3 organisers supported it, then it was 80%, and if 3 out of 3 organisers supported it, then it was 70%. I don't know what people think of that idea, but that was what we did for MFD Season 2.
It's
That's very
interesting.
interesting.
It's definitely very much of organisers have a lot of control system.
That's how we wanted at the time, because there was going to be such a big roster change. Like, we did want to have a lot of control over it at the time, and sort of like add people who we knew would be good in the long run, but people
The only
might
issue-
not necessarily vote in.
The only issue I could see with that is if the 3 organisers, if one of the other 2 organisers have like not heard of them before. Like
That's true.
That's the thing. Like, but we did. There wasn't really any cases of that because
Yeah.
like we chose who we gave a vote.
well, from your perspective, how well did it turn out afterwards? Like the roster.
I don't really remember. It was quite a long time ago.
It was really
Society.
diverse, wasn't it? Wasn't it like really diverse?
It's always been a very diverse roster, or it always was anyway.
Rest in
Like,
peace.
God save our gracious queen.
I'll point out, because my question was kind of like referral / just player addition methods in general, and we mentioned Out of Orbit, which I didn't actually get referred for that, which was an odd one.
Out of Orbit did like
I think I just got added to that.
Out of Orbit was like
but
a public referral
There was
system.
definitely a few people who,
I think I got referred, but I didn't do...
I think
Yeah.
I think Frost didn't get referred because, let's be honest, if it was going off of like people
Yeah,
we're friends with,
let's be
Frost
honest.
wasn't going to get in.
Yeah.
But of course,
That's because
he would
Frost
have to-
Frost is such a fan of space stuff, yeah.
Yeah, if it
Um,
was
but
Actually,
like-
I think he was originally like a special guest because I saw his season 4 perspective, and he didn't. He acted like he didn't know anyone who was playing
Well,
the
he
game.
didn't. He really.
yeah, he kind of really didn't.
Frost
yeah,
is the
it-
1%.
I'll
I
point...
think I was sorry.
Okay. Like I'll point out, I'm just going through like my Skype now. For example, just for 2 sides of the same coin. Pathfinder, for example, I was only a sub for season
5.
5. I think it was 5 actually. Yeah, season
that's right.
5. I was.
Wait, no. Your first season was when you teamed with me, wasn't it?
Yes, and I was a sub. I was a
Yeah.
sub. I was with Game Data. I was a sub. I got voted on. I wasn't like the top amount of votes to get into the round. So Joey's like, okay, you're a sub. I played as a sub and then got removed from the round. And that's just how it was. And I was like, okay, I'm okay with this. This is fine.
And then you did
And-
another vote.
And again, they did another vote. I got added back later.
Yeah.
But it was
I
that kind of
think it
method.
works. It's like a
Whereas
trial
for
period.
whereas for like, and I'll throw New Dawn up here because how we add new people to New Dawn is, oh, you've hung around with us for a little while. Yeah, you're cool. You're in the round. That's how we do it. I think we've ever done that. I can't think of a player vote we've ever done, but it still works because it's just a general thing. Everyone likes the people in the round generally. So it's just 2 sides of the same coin. Both methods work,
Mhm.
but it's just, you know.
Yeah, one is sort of like it's people who've got into the group, they're friends of the group, and everyone likes them and knows.
Yep.
Then Pathfinder is it might be someone you don't know, it might add someone you never know. So some random person who's never played an RR before, we give him a little trial period as a sub. And then people are like, hey, this guy played, I liked him, he's good, he's a nice guy, he's a great person. They get a trial period, they go through, and then people vote on them, and if they like them enough, they can get in. It seems quite like it. I quite like how it works.
It's very standard.
Yeah.
Katie, you kept saying he and you sexist.
Dude, I hate anyone who isn't a man.
What do you guys
Offensive
think
number 3.
the idea of people who've subbed for prior seasons need less like vote percentage to get in than a complete newcomer? Like, if you're doing referrals,
I don't agree with that.
Because
very
I know a lot
dependent.
of rounds that have done that. Like, if you've played a previous season and then you get a referral to join for the next season, you've got a better chance of getting in than somebody who's just getting a fresh referral without having played.
It can work in some
I think
cases.
I think that mindset really has to work if you're trying to go for roster consistency.
Yeah.
Like if you're around that really focuses, like is really focused on the fact that you have a lot of consistent players, then that probably would work. But if you're just going just entirely for friends, you don't care if you have an inconsistent roster, you just want a friend group. Well,
I just want a friend.
Depends what situation of season they subbed for. Because if they subbed for a chosen team of 2, someone's teammate couldn't make it and they were added, just a team with one, like, say, one person in the round that they did know quite well. If they then needed a lesser percentage to get into the round over somebody else, just because they've gotten to team with their friend for a previous season. But if you subbed for a random team season, it's like, alright, you know, you made the effort to show up, you may not know everyone in the round, but you made the effort and you knew that you might not be on a team with people you know particularly well, you were willing to integrate with the group a bit more, got to know people, and people like you, then that's different. I think if you sub for a random team Zara or something like that, I'd support that system. But if you're literally in it without checking with any of the round because, well, why does it concern you? They're literally there to team with somebody else. Like, it doesn't matter if you dislike them, they're not getting added to the round.
Yeah, by that logic, one of my IRL friends could have a better chance of getting it.
No.
You know, actually, I can kind of relate to this because I remember one time I was like, I was with a group of friends chat, and all of a sudden, one of them is in this one RR. I won't say what it is, but and it's like, hey, this RR's starting in like 5 minutes. Do you all want to join? And there's like a group of 5 of us join, and we all actually got into RR. They never like kicked us at all. And
Doesn't seem very professional.
well, it's not posted to the subreddit, so and they didn't really care, and one of our teams actually won.
Nice.
The old Reddit switcheroo.
And on Reddit, so true.
Fuck!
You got played.
I got twonked.
And
Oh,
since
Lord.
then, I think I've been kicked.
Rip.
God.
Rip the dream.
Right, do we want to
don't know,
move on
most
to
of-
the
I think that's all we can really
referrals,
say
or
on
anyone
player
else?
editions.
Yeah.
Unless anyone else has any.
Unless it's some like outlandish referral system where it's like,
Full names have a hat.
oh no, what about the one we tried to do? The one that we were going to do for Pathfinder, which is where you get people's pets to pick.
That was your
Oh,
suggestion.
that
It was terrible.
Dida was on it. Dida was up for it. Dida got a dog, not a dog, bird. Stella, that's the one.
And Katie was like, "What if we get our pets to pick the teams?"
Joe was
And
for
that
it.
Caught on really
Joe
well.
bought a pet.
Yeah.
He did not buy a pet for this.
Joe bought a lizard.
He did.
Did he? Did he actually?
Just get phased collection of weird beasts to.
Thing is, no, we can't do it anymore because the cat I would have used got hit by a fucking car.
Oh god.
That's
Alright.
a
dude.
It's actually extremely sad that that's a true story.
Right,
you
let's
laugh.
move on before I start going into a monologue about the cat and cry.
No, that's
So-
not. Dude,
Isn't my
Wetters
favourite-
topic I'm a little bit hesitant to talk about, considering it's not a fucking recorded round. But for some reason they put it on the recorded round flare, so we're going to discuss it anyway. Fucking, oh, what was it called? Family Feud, that's the one. Jesus Christ.
I have a question.
Get this over with.
I've heard basic stuff about this, but what the fuck is this?
Okay,
It's
Family
non-release.
Feud. Family Feud is not a
Non-release.
recorded round. It's not a recorded ultra hardcore match. It should never have been played as a recorded round. It was not a bad idea in concept, but it was a massive mistake from the players of the recorded round because it is anything but. It's usually players playing a little mini game, but it is not a recorded round because recorded round is a recorded
Well,
match
actually,
of ultra hardcore. It is not a recorded round. Please.
Also, it needed one perspective. It did not
Yeah,
need both
why did
hosts.
everybody upload?
And the
It needed
spectator.
one
Team.
video.
It did not need a the spectator perspective was the only one that was necessary, but because there were other people, it became the most unnecessary one.
There was
You
no
literally
reason for
just
other people to
needed
upload.
Shane and was it Cold?
Call
Yeah,
Bacon,
cool.
yep.
You just
Cold.
needed one of them to record and upload it as a unique video under the video flare, not the or maybe community. If you want.
Wait, so what we've
Alright,
what we've established?
Community.
We've established from Family Feud and from animated to life.
You see, I actually really
Show
enjoyed
to an
watching
hour.
it just because I wanted to see if I could get a lot of the. I thought I was pretty good at it actually. Like,
I thought the way they presented the
Well,
answers
anyway,
was quite bad.
Yeah, let Weather
yeah,
because
Diana
he was
didn't
in
really
it.
know what she was doing.
I thought the silence was a bit odd.
We actually, I think we had to do that because our script wasn't working. So
Oh, great.
Oh wow,
Sounds amazing.
I love it when the basic thing for a game mode that's very specific doesn't fucking work.
Can't say game, okay, it's not a UHC.
so anyway,
Concept.
I'm not an organizer of the round, but I know kind of like some of the
Round.
stuff around it. So
Stop.
anyway, I know that I know in the episode 1 post there was like a lot of people saying like, why is this labeled under recorded round? Because actually, if I look at the original post for the submissions where you can submit like an application,
It's
it
event.
wasn't labeled under recorded round. It
It's
was
event.
labeled under event. Yeah,
Yeah.
and
Oh, yeah. Why was the event? It is an event.
well,
We got 24 upvotes as well. It's quite good. Oh, I saw this actually. I remember this.
I applied,
Actu-
but it was at 1 in the morning.
Wait, it's a free episode, RR. Hang on, what?
yes, it was 3 episodes.
It's not a recorded round.
Yeah,
please.
It's got recorded now, Flair. That makes it a recorded.
Frames are using that term.
I've never before seen something labeled as a recorded round and then get complaints because it got full uploads.
Yeah, look at episode 2 and 3. It did not get full uploads.
Yeah.
It
Well,
does.
episode 1 didn't have full uploads either.
Yeah, because Perido had computer problems and Link got corrupted by business.
And
Just got corrupted.
Shane didn't get his footage in time, and I don't know if he has done this yet, but he said he'd upload the raw footage to his channel like sometime after it.
Also, I swear
I'm gonna
you,
go ahead and
like,
guess he
no
didn't.
offense, but I swear Link, like, just knew nothing. Like,
He kind of did, to be
I
honest.
think it would have been nice if the people who had chosen were, like, based on sort of somewhat of a knowledge, because he didn't really seem to be able to engage with too many of the questions too well.
I do like
So
that the
I
episode
think it
3
would've been
post has
better
no
if
comments.
Rather than just having 10 random people and doing random teams, if you'd actually applied in groups, because it's Family Feud, the commentary would have been amazing if you had 2 groups of friends playing against each other.
You know,
very
And
good.
you could have
actually-
applied in groups of 5. Why the hell was it done the way it did? It
You
wasn't
know-
a family. It was an
Okay.
absolute.
It was Feud. Welcome to Feud.
Welcome to Feud. No, actually, in the episode 1 post, I saw Grant saying like they should do something like that, and like he made his example like out of orbit versus like ambition or something like that.
Yeah, he says take Coke in his group and take Lethal in his group, and it could be
Coke in his
Hello
group,
Family,
okay.
Family, and the Ambition Family.
I don't know if that's his name.
Hey, Kiki, you ever read a guy named Uprissery Carey?
But anyway, what?
My main man, Coke owner.
I'm kidding myself tonight.
Co-owner. Don't
Can we move on?
No.
Right,
Don't
I
tell
have
the
to
police.
stop talking, so you guys can all finish this off.
Is this
Finish this off.
a last subject?
Weather wanted to finish.
I
I
wasn't
think
done
Weather
yet.
Weather wanted to finish the
TTE
topic.
applications. That's
So
Okay.
wait, I wasn't done yet.
Okay, so fucking finish then, you prick.
Okay, and then
Sorry.
another thing you said, like, why do we have like everyone uploading at once? Or not at once, but why does everyone have to have their own perspective? And why is it like? Well, here's the thing. While we were doing this, Diana B specifically said we're gonna treat this like a recorded round, so everyone is gonna have to upload and record.
But what's the
And-
point of that?
What?
Wait, I have a question.
I just feel,
Yeah.
it would feel like because of the how the show was formatted, I don't think it was necessary at
You know,
all for
basically,
everyone
what
to
I
do
mean
that.
is, what by getting individual perspectives, what did that add? Did you get any different? Did you get anything out of watching an individual perspective? Because it's not like the players actually did anything individually. It was really just the general experience. you really just could have had one or two players, like, a spec and the person doing the questions at most, and that really is all you needed to have to enjoy
I have a
Actually,
question.
to answer that, well, first of all, I know both teams had different perspectives for like the last round, Fast Money. So, and then Cole did his like this little commentary while he was muted, so nobody else can hear him. And another thing, we were wondering like once we got done, we were wondering like, wait, everyone's gonna have the same perspective, but we just like kind of stuck to the record around concept. And I know that most of you argued it's not a record around. Well, I know that AJ and Diana got permissions from the subreddit moderators saying that they could post this as a record around and onto the subreddit in general, even though it wasn't really a UHC.
Yeah,
I have a question.
If you could excuse me for 10 seconds.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean... Okay, I understand that they may have gotten permission from the mods to do it, but that doesn't mean that it is, like... the way to find a recorded round is a recorded ultra-hardcore match that is uploaded. To me, there's nothing UHC about that, besides the fact that it was people from the UHC community. So I don't understand at all why it was labeled as a recorded round, because that is nothing in common with the recorded round, except there were people that recorded Minecraft and uploaded it.
Yeah.
There was
adding
nothing
to that,
UHC.
in a UHC, aren't you meant to cave for gear, grab your own gear, and kill people? Isn't like the main point of UHC that someone, like every team's meant to be killed by either PvP or PvE, and then one team survives at the end?
What about
Why do they not kill
Wait.
each other?
If they started clearing each other out at the end, maybe it could have been a recorded round, but sadly not.
If there's no killing, there's no getting gear, there's no fighting, there's no strategy. How is it recorded round?
Do we want to move on to the final topic of the GT
Can I just say one last thing?
Please, go ahead.
Alright. Now, I think one of the other reasons we were thinking of why are we all uploading it, because we're going to have subscribers that don't pay attention to the subreddit at all.
Oh yeah, all the branches subscribers.
I guess.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure if that... Like, I can understand your point if you're talking with larger YouTubers.
Like
but
Sakano, or if you have Nostalgia.
I don't think there was any player in there that had a large enough fan base that point would actually be effective, to be quite honest.
we see branches
to add on to that, a large enough fan base outside of the Reddit already.
Yeah.
Because even if someone has a lot, has 1,000, 2,000 subscribers, there's also a good chance if they're part of Reddit that they also just get a lot of views anyway from the subreddit.
Yeah.
I had no issue with it being posted on the sub because it was people related to the subreddit. I had no issue. Not a recorded round, but I've liked the concept. I honestly liked it.
It's not a bad idea.
It's just like, it made me think, damn, this would be really fun to do with like my kind of little friend group kind of thing. So
if you do it with the Mafia group from New Dawn. Like
the Mafia group, oh jeez.
Fucking family feud with that. But yeah, it doesn't seem like something that's like, because like, an RR, like, it's if it was labeled as an event, I'd be perfectly fine with it. It's a cool smoky. We probably wouldn't be talking about it. No one would be talking about it really. Be like, oh, that happened. That's cool. That's all right. But because it's labeled as an RR, we're talking about it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna post a scenario, label it as RR, and have you guys talking about it in a couple of weeks.
But yeah, no, I have no issue with it being posted to the subreddit. It's just complete wrong flair for it, in my opinion. It didn't pertain anything to an actual recorded round. It had no purpose to be there. Any other things anybody wants to add before we move on to the final topic, that being TTE Season 15 applications?
Nope.
Wow, bad fans done it with Max. Sorry.
Yeah, I hope he doesn't mind, but I'm just going to kind of tag along.
I think Bad Fan died, so you're fine.
Yeah, no, he said it was too late for him to talk anymore, so I'm just going to take over the last 10 or so minutes. This is almost approaching the 2-hour mark as well. We've been going at this for quite a while. This is going to be I think this is already our longest episode. So, for anybody unaware, who I'm sure is very little, as this was garnered quite a amount of attention, but there were recently, about, 2 weeks ago, Frost Breath uploaded a video to the subreddit that was applications for To The End Ultra Hardcore Season 15, not just for the specific season, but generally to become a member. What he said in this video is applications were open to anybody who wanted to join the group. First season to play would be Season 15, and it was normal applications except for the fact that your application had to be the most creative way you could think of to kill the Ender Dragon, because in each season of, in every 5 seasons of To The End, those being Season 5, Season 10, and eventually Season 15, will be Dragon Rush. So in order to do the next Dragon Rush season, they want to have the application pertain to the game mode, that being Dragon Rush. So it was, in 10 minutes or less, show your most creative way to kill the dragon, and show us it. And, you could also ad-lib it with some information about why you think you should be in the round in general. And that's been up for, about 2 weeks now. It's ending over just in the next few days.
It's ending the day of this podcast being released.
Yeah.
So when you hear this, you have like
as Drake once put on his album cover, if you're reading this, it's too late.
It is. Oh no, because I looked at the time and it's actually past midnight. So yeah, you have like 24 hours to make an app, real quick. Do it.
Good luck. If anybody wants to pop that in, then hey, it's your time.
I really like the idea of rather than just having like we were talking about player referrals and stuff, like having people really put dedication in, show their talent or whatever for some really.
No, really
cool thing. It's like with WMC when they did their
WMC's done similar things, yeah.
Yeah, like season 20. It was season 20, wasn't it? I'm not going. But yeah, with season 20 with their build a spawn for season 20 recording round, get into the recording round thing. That was because it's not just adding people who are close to the round. It's getting new people in that they may not know who may be great to the round, who look good, and then they've put so much effort into something to get in. So they're showing how much dedication they have to wanting to get in. It's really really cool idea.
Would Silverteeth have got into WMC otherwise? I don't think so.
No, I don't think he would have.
No boys.
No.
Something worth mentioning is that TTE is adding the top 3 members, whereas WMC only added 1. So you have a better chance of being accepted into TTE as you would other contests.
Yeah. And also, if you've got a really good application, but you are not one of the top 3, you probably end up having a chance of getting in it later anyway, wouldn't you? I feel.
When this podcast actually submitted one. Or is doing one?
I did.
Because I know I did.
I did.
And me and
I plan on doing one. I've attempted. However, my attempts so far have flopped. I'm going to see if I can try to get it fixed up tomorrow. I've done a good bit of it, but whether it can actually be completed on time, I don't know. I've been busy.
Hey Max, I'll lend you an assist if you pay me 50 quid PayPal.
Yeah, I could do that.
So I think I submitted. I entered the WMC 21 and mine was the best. So
your Bedrock box should have won. Why are you not in the WMC?
It really brought me the most nostalgia from any of them, so I'd say that's a winner, a real winner. Any comments on the TTE 15 applications, or is that...
I hope I get in.
Same here.
I'm just as a member TT, just saying. If you think you can get an application out in 24 hours and think you can do a good job of it, then go ahead.
Yeah, but can I build a Bedrock box in 24 hours?
I will vote for you all the time, every second. I want to let
if you want to guarantee a vote from me, please include some part of your application. Please name drop the podcast so we know that you recorded it after watching this. Get a vote from me.
Can you also
I will do that now.
If you want to make a submission for the contest, can you also dox Dom and write all his information down a couple of signs in a...
Katie Lawson, her address is...
Don't do that! No. My address is...
Well, in that case,
fine, that's BGR.
Really... Oh, God. If there's too much else... That
wraps this up, isn't it?
Yeah, if there's anything else we can say, then we can probably close it off. So,
we have one more insult left, I think.
Oh,
yeah.
The subreddit's dying! Anyone who plays Minecraft over the age of 7 is a fucking idiot!
And thanks for watching, everyone.
Wait, hold on, wanna get bad fun to do an ASMR close?
Yeah, ASMR, let's do it.
Everybody please get get your genitals of choice out of your trap. You
gotta go for the whisper ending.
Right. Thank you everyone for watching this episode. I really appreciate it.
Thanks for watching.
Thank you for coming, our competition winners.
It's been real fun, that's alright. I appreciate it. It's been a pleasure.